Looking at our world from a theological perspective. This is the Theology Central Podcast, making theology central.
Welcome, everyone. It is Friday, September the 10th, 2021. It is currently 5:13 p.m. Central Time, and I'm coming to you live from the empty sanctuary of Victory Baptist Church right here in the middle of nowhere, Texas. If you're listening live, as always, thank you so very much for tuning in. If you're not listening live and you would like to contact me anytime, simply email me, newsif@yahoo.com, newsif@yahoo.com. Obviously, if you're listening live, you can email me as well. But if you are listening live, you know you can contact me right now via the chat feature on the Spreaker app. Just hit the little chat icon. You can offer your thoughts and opinions, answer questions, whatever you would like to say. We love to hear from you. But I thought I would turn on the microphone here this Friday. Now, I'll be back tomorrow probably for a number of hours of live broadcasting. And then Sunday is still very much up in the air how things are going to play out Sunday here at Victory Baptist Church. I have a lot of decisions to make about what we're going to do. But I have a feeling there's going to be a lot of hours of live broadcasting on Sunday. That's probably the one guarantee. Sunday is going to be a lot of time sitting here in front of this microphone. I can almost assure you of that. So if you can tune in anytime Sunday, we greatly appreciate it. And hopefully for a number of hours tomorrow. But I thought before I pack everything back up and go home, I would do something. I would turn on the microphone and just try to have a talk with you. If you've been participating in the Bible study exercises, I would love to get your feedback. If you have no idea what the Bible study exercises are, I would like to get your feedback as well. I would like to hear from everyone. Hopefully people will respond. But I want to just kind of talk about where we are with the Bible study exercises, where we're going to go, ask you what I can do to help you out even more so, because I need to really stress this. The whole goal of the Bible study exercises, the whole goal of this entire experiment, I guess you could call it an experiment, this entire attempt, the whole goal here of everything this effort, what I'm trying to do with this Bible study exercise effort is I'm trying to get people not to just be a passive listener, but an active participant. I'm wanting to get people to actually study the Bible. There are plenty of podcasts you can tune into where they'll tell you what the Bible says, and that's perfectly okay. I do that sometimes as well. I do a lot of teaching and even with some of the Bible study exercises. But I'm trying to design something that says, hey guys, we're in this together. We're fellow classmates. Let's grab a Bible. Let's grab a notebook. Let's grab some reference tools, and let's dig in. And I want you studying. I want you contacting me saying, this is what I found. This is what I discovered. I look at what you found. I may turn the microphone on and go, oh, this was interesting. Oh, I never thought about that. That was great. Oh, great catch. Sometimes I'm waiting to see if you found what I left out. And just really back and forth. In other words, that it's a group of people engaged in study and then communicating that. That's what I'm trying to accomplish. I may fail miserably in my attempt. I have failed at a lot of things. So that's perfectly okay. But I just feel this burden, this absolutely overwhelming burden that Christianity is in such poor condition right now that if we can't get people to actually open up their Bibles and dig in and study, that we should just, turn off the microphone, shut the church down, and just go home because it's over. It's done. Because what is Christianity without the Word of God? What is Christianity without Christians reading the Bible, studying the Bible, memorizing the Bible, talking about the Bible, excited about the Bible, treasuring the Bible? Man does not live by bread alone, but by every word that proceedeth out of the mouth of God. You know all of the scriptures. I've stated them all the time. As a newborn babe, sincerely desire the sincere milk of God's word, that you may grow thereby. We need God's word. It's a treasure. It's our food. It's what we need. And our thinking is going to be wrong. Everything's going to be wrong unless we live inside the pages of God's word. And it just seems that it's becoming more and more difficult to get people to go there. They're so distracted by everything else. So this series is really trying to get people to do that. But I want to also ensure that what I'm doing is beneficial. So if there's anything I can do to help you, if you if you're like, well, if you could do an episode each week where you do this, whatever you think this is that I need to do, let me know. If I can incorporate it, I will incorporate it. Like, well, if you did more of this and less of that, whatever you think I can do. Now, of course, you're one person. So I may get one email that someone says, do this, and I'll get another email where someone tells me to do the exact opposite. But that's okay. Then it's up for me to go, well, is there some way to help out both? And I'm not talking about personal preferences. I mean, you can give me your personal preferences, but what I'm talking about is things that will literally, really sincerely assist you and help you in studying the Bible each week. What can I do? So you let me know. You can email me newsif@yahoo.com. But I kind of want to just explain where we are in our study and what we're going to be doing over the next few weeks, okay? For this week, you should know where we are by this week. It's Friday, so we've reached kind of the end of a week of Bible study. This week was all about 1 Kings chapter 18, verses 20 to 39. 1 Kings chapter 18, verses 20 to 39. And we threw in verse 40 because I think it was very, very significant. We had a very... probably not a pleasant conversation about verse 40, but I thought it was necessary. I didn't get much feedback on that. I didn't think I would, but I thought it was an interesting conversation. Now, that episode also had, the power going out, and I was trying to read the Bible in the dark. I mean, it had everything. It had a thunderstorm going on outside. That episode had everything you could want in it, at least maybe from a listening perspective, from trying to pull through it, it was horrible, okay? Because I was like, how many things can go wrong before this episode is over? But hopefully the conversation was still beneficial. Now, so it's Friday, so please continue. I don't know how many times you've read the passage, but read it a couple of more times, maybe tonight, maybe tomorrow. 1 Kings chapter 18, verses 20 to 39. Read it and read it and read it and read it. And then, probably tomorrow, I'm going to do an introduction for our next week's study. And our next week, our study is going to be, and just remember, you have the curriculum is still available to you. For anyone who's brand new, there is curriculum that goes along with the Bible study exercises. All you have to do is go to theologycentral.net, go to the blog section, look for the entry that says Daily Discipleship Guide, follow the link. It's going to take you to ministrygrid.com, sign up. There you have. You have the adult Bible study guide, you have the daily discipleship guide, and you have access to the leader's guide. You have access to everything. It's all there. If you were to buy each one of those individual books, it would cost you, I don't know, I think you'd be well over $20 every quarter trying to buy all of those books, maybe even more. And we're handing that to you for free and legally, because we're paying the subscription so that you can do that. Well, currently we're not paying for it. A listener is currently paying for it. But if they stop, if we don't get more support, then the church will hopefully have the money to continue it. All right. But that's the study that we did this week. Okay. Now, so please use the curriculum. There is 1 Kings chapter 18, verses 20 to basically verse 40. Now, tomorrow, we're going to introduce our next study. The next one will be 1 Kings chapter 19, verses 1 through 18. Now, they go from 1 Kings chapter 19, verses 1 through 5, and then jump to verse 11 through 18. I'm just going to say 1 Kings 19, 1 through 18. 1 Kings chapter 19, 1 through 18. That's what we're going to be studying all this coming next week. So don't do it yet, but starting tomorrow maybe, or Sunday, start reading 1 Kings 19, 1 through 18 over and over and over and over and over. Try to develop an outline. We haven't done a lot of talk about outlines during the 1 Kings study. We really haven't, but we'll probably do a lot more emphasizing outlines moving forward. We may, because I think that's such an important skill and tool, because that's an observational tool, and, well, you need to do that. So that's where we're going. They call this, it's Unit 2, Session 5, according to the curriculum, and they call it Serve Even When Discouraged. I think you have an idea of what's coming here. 1 Kings chapter 19, verses 1 through 18. Again, you have available to you the adult study guide, the adult leader guide, the daily discipleship guide, and the daily discipleship guide leader. Oh, and if you scroll down, you also have access to a podcast produced by the people who put together the curriculum. So you have all of that just sitting there waiting for you so that you can spend a week inside the text of Scripture. Trying to do these week-long studies, I think I'm finding it fascinating because it's trying. I mean, spending a week with just one passage of Scripture, just reading it over and over and over and over and over and over and over. We're not moving quickly, but it's really allowing it to hopefully become. I think someone emailed me and said that, that they found that the study had been very interesting and helpful, and that they definitely were not going to forget the passage. And that, whatever mistakes I may have made, if you don't forget the passage by the end of the week, then guess what? I've accomplished something. All right. Even if it wasn't, even if I'm not the one who caused it to happen, I'm the one at least bringing it to your attention and saying, hey, do this. So, yes. So starting tomorrow, we'll probably introduce it. So maybe tomorrow you could go ahead if you want, or you can wait till Sunday, however you've got your schedule worked out. But 1 Kings 19, 1 through 18, over and over, just read it and read it and read it and read it, outline it. And then again, as you're reading, you're not trying to interpret. When you outline, you're not trying to interpret. If your outline contains an listen, if you write your outline out and realize it contains interpretations, burn it. Okay. Don't just throw it away. Burn it. Okay. As a symbolic way of you getting, if I was to grade it, you're getting an F because, no, it cannot contain an interpretation. It's observation. And then write down anything in the text that you're like, I don't know about that. That confuses me. I don't understand that. Email me because, again, free of charge, not placed behind a Patreon paywall. All you have to do is say, I don't get this. I'll come back, turn on the microphone, and spend an hour talking about it. That doesn't happen everywhere. So I'm willing to do that. You please read it, because if you don't understand something, we'll detour everything else and focus right there on what you don't understand. Literally, I don't care if we don't get anything else done. If I help you understand it, one person understands the text better than they did when they started. That's a success. Even if I only get that one download, even if it's only one stream, that's got to be considered a success. Even if the numbers don't always demonstrate that it is a success. All right. So that's what we're going to be doing. Serve even when discouraged. I don't like looking at the titles. Just if you're looking at the curriculum, just a note, just a thought here. Ignore their title, because it can place a perception on the text. It can give you kind of a lens, which you see the text through. Oh, this is about serving God when I'm discouraged. I'm not saying that that's not what the text is about. I'm saying you just don't want to start reading the text with already someone giving you some ideas beforehand. You want to see the text by itself. So one of the things I would always suggest for those using the curriculum, don't look at the curriculum at all until you've at least read the text 5 times. Read the text 5 times. Then when you open up the curriculum, you'll be like, okay, I agree with that. Or you'll be like, wait, what? How did they come to that conclusion? And then it may be you battling with the curriculum going, I don't agree with this. And then let me know you don't agree. And then we can see how you can tell me what you perceive from the text. We can look at what they perceive from the text, and we can do an entire hour just looking at your perception, their perception, and then we'll let everyone else vote on who's right. Is someone from whatever state you're from, are they right, or is the curriculum right? Okay, and then I'll make the deciding vote. Okay, I'm joking. All right. So there we have it. Okay, that's where we're going. 1 Kings 19, verses 1 through 18. But where are we going to go after that? Where are we going after that? Everything's going to change after that drastically. All right? Because actually, no. We're going to have, I take that back. I am wrong here. Oh, this is interesting. Okay. So the one we're doing, that's where so the one we're getting ready to start, the one's coming up on basically Sunday is the official start date. We'll probably introduce it tomorrow. It's 1 Kings 19, 1 through 18. All right. That's where we're going. Then after that, we are going to then go to 1 Kings 19, verses 19 to 2 Kings chapter 2, verse 14. Then we're going to go to 1 Kings 19, verse 19, to 2 Kings chapter 2. Yeah, okay, 2 Kings chapter 2, verse 14. So that's what we're going to be. Okay, well, we'll do it this way. I'm going to read it the way it's written here. 1 Kings 19, verses 19 to 21. Let's do it this way. We're going to go 1 Kings 19, verses 19 to 21, and 2 Kings chapter 2, verses 6 through 14. I was making it sound like we're going to read all of that. We're not going to do it. We'll break it down into those two parts. So the next study, not this coming week, but the week after, will be in 1 Kings chapter 19. We'll start in verse 19. We'll go to verse 21. Then we'll stop. We'll go to 2 Kings chapter 2, verses 6 through 14. All right? And I'm not going to tell you the title of that study, but that's where we'll be. 1 Kings 19, 19 through 21, then 2 Kings chapter 2, verses 6 through 14. Okay? That's where we'll be. Now, so we've got some more. We got this coming week, we're going to be in 1 Kings 19. The next week, we'll be in 1 Kings 19 and 2 Kings chapter 2. So we still got 1 Kings and 2 Kings. The next 2 weeks, that's where we're going to be. 1 Kings and 2 Kings for the next 2 weeks. Right now, where are we going after that? Well, after that, that's when everything's going to change. After that, we're going to be in 1 John. We're going to be in 1 John, and I think we're going to be in 1 John for a considerable amount of time. In fact, I'm opening up the curriculum here because I think I may have to go to the Leader's Guide. Give me 1 second. We're going to be in 1 John for a considerable amount of time. I don't know exactly how long, but it's going to be for a couple of weeks. Yeah. Well, it doesn't give me this. I thought it was going to give me the scriptures here. I don't want to give you the title. I don't want to give you the titles because that's going to give it away too much. Let's see if it breaks down a chart. Let me see here if we get a chart. They do give me a chart. Oh yeah, here we go. All right. This is what we're going to be studying. So for the next 2 weeks, 1 Kings and 2 Kings. After that, this is where we're going to be. And this is going to get us all the way pretty much to the end of the year. Pretty close. We're going to be in 1 John. This is how it's going to break down. 1 John chapter 1, verse 5 to chapter 2, verse 2. So we're going to be in 1 John chapter 1, verse 5 to chapter 2, verse 2. Then we're going to be in 1 John chapter 2, verse 3, all the way basically to verse 17. Then we're going to be in 1 John 2, verse 18 to 29, 1 John chapter 3, verse 19 to chapter 4, verse 4, 1 John 4, verse 7 to basically the end of the chapter, 1 John chapter 5. So basically we're going to spend 6 weeks in 1 John. We're going to be 6 weeks in 1 John, and that is going to be an absolutely difficult 6 weeks. It is. Because what we're going to do is I'm going to possibly throw out the normal way 1 John is interpreted completely out. And we're going to look at some other possible options. All right? I'm not going to give too much away right now. We're going to be, that's going to be some serious work. There's been lots of questions because of a lot of things that we've talked about in regards to salvation. There's a lot of people who say, well, what about 1 John? What about 1 John? Well, now here we go. And we're going to look at all, there's about 9 different possible ways of interpreting 1 John. I think there's about 9 throughout church history. I think there's 9 different ways of interpreting it. We're going to look at all 9. We're going to work through all of it. It's going to be crazy. I don't even know if we're going to be able to get that done in 6 weeks, but those weeks are going to be intensive. Like I may have to be doing 2 and 3 broadcasts a day on some of these sections. It's going to be interesting. We'll see. Maybe it won't have to be that much, but that's where we're headed. So 1 Kings for the next 2 weeks, then 1 John for 6 weeks. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All right. Then after the 6 weeks in 1 John, we're going to spend 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 weeks in Genesis. All right? And we're going to start from Genesis 12 and go to Genesis 22. All right. I don't know how well that's going to work. That's because those sections, there's so much in some of those sections, but we may have to rely on the curriculum for some of them, but that's where we're going to go. All right. Now, the way the curriculum breaks this down, the 6 weeks in 1 John, they're going to say 6 things we can know for sure. 6 things we can know for sure. That's what they want us to do. 6 things we can know for sure. And then the study in Genesis, we're going to spend that time, and they're going to want us to learn to walk in confidence. That's the way the curriculum is going to approach those 2 sections. Remember, the way the curriculum approaches it will probably not be the way I approach it, but it's there to supplement and to offer maybe even a different perspective than I will offer. And trust me, when they differ greatly, you'll know, and we'll work through this. But that's where we're going. So that gets you, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. That's 13. That's what we're going to be doing for the next 15 weeks. For the next 15 weeks. 2 weeks left in 1 Kings and a part of 2 Kings. And then 6 weeks. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 weeks in 1 John. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 weeks in Genesis. Now, that's what we're going to do. So basically, that gets us, it's going to get us to, we're going to have December there. And I don't know what we'll be doing in December. We'll find out when we get there. But that is where we are going. That's where we are going. I think it's going to be fun. So what do I challenge you to do? Just right now, focus on the 1 Kings passages, right? We got all the work to do in 1 Kings. Focus on that. And then when we get close to 1 John, we're going to do a lot of work in 1 John. We're going to do a lot of work in 1 John. I don't even know how much we'll get into the text at the beginning. We'll see. That should be a lot of fun. I'm cautiously optimistic that it's going to be fun. It's going to be, it's probably going to be very frustrating at times and difficult because you're going to be like, wait a minute, what are you talking about? Where are you going with this? But trust me, I'm going to be relying on different views from church history. I'm not going to go necessarily with the one that you've just been thrown out at you at your church. You've probably gone to church and you've heard the same thing over and over and over without any realization that not everyone interprets it that way. And you'll see what I mean. All right. So 1 John, Genesis, that's where we're going to be. That's going to get us all the way into December. Okay. In fact, we may be behind. We'll have to see. I don't know how we're going to pull some of this off. We may have to do some changing some things up. We're going to put it this way. 1 John is going to be the priority. 1 John is the priority. And if it takes 1 John and we have to spend all for the rest of the year in 1 John, that's what we'll do. 1 John will be the priority. If we have to move some of the 1 John discussion to a different podcast episode, then we will, and then we'll move on with the Bible study exercise. But 1 John is where we're going to definitely be. So let's look at this again. All right, here's where we're going to be. All right, so this coming week, we're going to be looking at 1 Kings chapter 19, verses 1 through 18. That's what we're going to be doing for this coming week. All right, 1 Kings 19, 1 through 18. That's simple, straightforward. That's where you're going to be. The week after that, we are going to be in 1 Kings 19, verses 19 to 21, and then 2 Kings chapter 2, verses 6 through 14. That is where we're going to be. All right, sounds good? I hope so. That's where we're going to be. Now, please, if you want the curriculum, if you want access to all of this curriculum, that's a lot of curriculum just handed to you. TheologyCentral.net, go to the blog section, Daily Discipleship Guide, follow the link, Ministry Grid, register. If you have any problems, email me newsif@yahoo.com, newsif@yahoo.com, and be ready to dig in. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. And we're gonna run into all kinds of theological issues. 1 John. Man, I don't even know I'm dreading it. I am. In some ways I'm excited. In some ways I'm dreading it because it's just going to take a lot of work. But we're going to go all in. And if we can finish up the Niagara Creed for Sunday school at VBC, then the Sunday school hour will become a massive part of our 1 John. Sunday school hour at Victory Baptist Church will be a major part of the Bible study exercise. And so those Sunday school lessons will be a part of the Bible study exercise podcast series. We'll just incorporate the Sunday school hour into that. And then we'll be basically doing a live Bible study exercise with the people of Victory Baptist Church. So that could really add a new dynamic to it. All right. Please let me know if there's resources you need. Like if you don't have money for a dictionary, there's certain things you don't have. Let us know if we can afford it. I will definitely send you whatever I can. I want to give away the Ultimate Bible Guide. I do. I'm going to try to see if I can give away some copies of this. They're like, I think $9 a piece, maybe $10 a piece. And how many pages is the Bible study? It's 413 pages. It's called the Ultimate Bible Guide, and it basically offers a good introduction and overview of every book of the Bible. It's like a kind of a mini Bible handbook, but it's just being $10. It's easy to get into people's hands. We want to get into people's hands. We want to get into everyone's hands the Bible Dictionary, the Nelson's New Illustrated Bible Dictionary. We want to get that into everyone's hand. Yes. Is it Nelson's dictionary? Yes, it is. We use, for the person asking, in the church, and maybe this is a redundant question. Maybe she knows, maybe she doesn't know. In our church, in all of the pews, we have Nelson's New Illustrated Bible Dictionary. That's what we have. In all of the pews. And because what I do in church, sometimes in sermons, I'll be like, okay, guys, everyone grab a Bible dictionary. And sometimes when I get ready to start, someone will say, are we going to need the Bible dictionary? I'm like, well, have it nearby because I never know. Because at any point I'll be like, you know what we're going to do? We're just going to work through the Bible dictionary. And then sometimes I challenge what the Bible dictionary has to say, but it's just a good resource. And it's just the one we used. I'm not saying it's the best one, but it was one that we decided to use. They have a new edition out. And if we give away some, we'll give away the new edition. I think we've already given away a couple. I know we've given away a couple, and we may do that as well. So those are some, and we want to give away. I got to choose which Bible handbook because everyone needs a good Bible handbook. Everyone needs a good Bible handbook. So we'll see if we can give away some of those as well. We'll see what we can do. It's always a matter of resources. If we've got the money, I want to give away stuff. That's what I want to do because I want everyone to be, every Christian needs to have the resources available. I've always been blown away how churches don't provide, like some churches have a bookstore in the church where they sell the stuff. I have to be honest with you. Whenever I've seen churches that has an actual bookstore where they sell stuff, I'm sorry. I'm not saying this is a correct application, but I want to go outside, put together a whip, and come in and just tear up everything inside their store and their coffee shop or whatever other garbage they got going on. How in the world could a church in good conscience sell stuff to the people? If the people need a dictionary, a handbook, a Bible, a notebook, pencils, the church should be like willingly providing it to anyone and everyone that they can. It should be like, here you go. We have a library in our church, not a bookstore, a library that's free for anyone to go in and take whatever they want. I don't ask anyone to check anything out. I hope they bring it back. If they bring it back, if they don't, they don't. We've got all of Calvin's commentaries right there at the bottom. Okay. In our library, they're right there available. They have access to all of John Calvin's commentaries. We have systematic theologies in there. We have all kinds of stuff. So every church should have a library. I don't understand it. Like at one time, back before everyone now has on their phones, basically, the Blue Letter Bible app, which is another thing everyone uses here at our church, when they can look up the Greek or Hebrew or whatever. We used to have a stack of Strong's concordances in there, and I'd hand out the concordances. Say, let's look this up. Let's look that up. So I've always been trying to put the tools into people's hands. But if you don't give them the tools, what do you expect? I mean, serious Bible study requires tools. You cannot have serious Bible study without tools. Now, you can do You can do Bible study observational studies, doing observational studies without a lot of serious tools. You can do a chapter summary method with pretty much just a Bible and a notebook. Your cross-referencing may have to rely on your memory if you don't have some tools, but now with your phone, you can do a chapter summary method like that. You can do a chapter summary method all day, and that's one of the most important methods of Bible study. So, I think churches, I just sometimes blown away how people don't have the tools. It's like, why wouldn't the church just be handing things out? Some of these churches will spend $500,000 building a fellowship hall. I'm blown away by that. You're going to $500,000 building a fellowship hall so that all your people can come there, sit there and stuff food down their throats? They don't need food. Remember what Paul told the Corinthians when the church had added the agape feast and they kept coming to the church to feed their faces? He's like, don't you have homes to eat in? Go home and eat. You come to the church not for physical food. You come to church for spiritual food. The church is not there to put food in your mouth. Now, if you've got a population of people who don't have food and they're starving, then by all means, the church needs to make food to feed people who are needy. But typically the people shoving, fried chicken down their throat on a, fellowship, quote unquote, meal are people who don't need the fried chicken. They need probably another dose of Bible study is probably what they need. But that's a whole different thing. But yes, Nelson's New Illustrated Bible Dictionary, if you need one. Okay, if the person who just placed the comment, because I don't remember all of the emails I get, sometimes I forget. I don't know if this person states they have one, but if you need one, you just tell me right now in the chat, and I will make sure we find a way. We will get you one. I will order you one ASAP. I will order you one this evening if you need one. So if the person talking, if you need a New Illustrated Bible Dictionary of Nelson's, the new edition, I will have it sent to you. I will order it tonight, have it sent to you directly from Amazon, and get it to your house hopefully by Monday or Tuesday, depending how quick I can get it there. But if you just let me know, I'm waiting to see. I'm not getting if this and if anybody else is listening and you need one, just let me know. And you can say yes here, and then you'll need to email me at newsif@yahoo.com, newsif@yahoo.com. I'll need your first and last name. I'll need your address. And then I'll go on Amazon, order it, have it sent directly to you. All right. I know some people don't like Amazon, but that's the easiest way to get stuff to you. All right. Because, I use Amazon for all kinds of things. All right. So, and if there's anyone else listening, and if you need one, and if you're too embarrassed to say in chat, that's okay. Just email me. Perfectly okay. I can understand that. We will definitely do what we can to get you one. All right. All right. This person says, nope, I can get it. Send one to someone who needs you to send them one. All right. We will definitely do that if anyone else needs one, because we definitely want them to have it. Definitely have it. Again, I don't agree with everything in the Bible dictionary. I don't. There's some entries I'm like, and if you've ever, I think we did that. What book was it? We tore apart. I tear apart their outlines. I don't even remember which book it was, but it was a Wednesday night, and we did a study, and you can listen to the sermon. I don't remember. I wish I could remember which book it was, but we tore it apart. I mean, we took the Bible dictionary's outline that they gave of the book, and we ripped it into shreds. I mean, we just tore it apart because, again, sometimes their outlines and the Bible dictionary has interpretation in it, and I believe any outline that has an interpretation needs to be burned because that's not what an outline is supposed to do. It's not supposed to include your interpretation. It's supposed to include your observation, which then equips you to do your interpretation. If you ever do interpretation before your observation, you know your interpretation is wrong. It must flow from your observation. The quality of the interpretation is dependent on the quality of your observation. This is like basic hermeneutics 101, all right? And so many times Christians get it horribly wrong. So, all right, if anybody else is listening and you need anything, and we'll try to get the Ultimate Bible Guide. I may try to give one of these away soon. All right, and if anybody wants to help us in getting books to people, again, theologycentral.net, go to the donate tab. But we're not asking you for anything. Just saying if you want to help, then that money will go to paying for when we give away books. But if you don't want to do that, it's perfectly okay because we try not to ever burden anybody with giving us anything. All right, I think that's where we're headed. 1 John is going to be oh boy, First John is going to not be pleasant. So I want to hurry up through the First Kings and Second Kings. I almost want to hurry, but that would be wrong. We need to take our time and spend our time with each section and get the most out of it as possible. And then when it's time for First John, just be prepared. Most likely, what I'm going to do is going to go against everything you've ever been taught in regards to it, and it's going to get us right into a discussion about soteriology. I think the person who commented, emailed me today, and we had an interesting back and forth about law and gospel, and this is really, really going to, 1 John is going to be, that whole concept is going to come into play, because what do we do here? Because I'll just throw this out briefly. The major way of interpreting 1 John by most churches in America today is that they view 1 John as a test book. Hey, how do you know you're saved? Go to 1 John. If you pass the test, you're saved. If you don't pass the test, you're not saved. But if you start really looking at the test, my conclusion is by the time the test is over, everyone would have to acknowledge they're not saved. So the way they do the test is say, this is a test, and then they come back and say, however, you're not going to do it perfectly. So I can pass the test to prove that I'm saved by an imperfect score. Well, then how do I grade it? Do I need a 40%, 30%, 50%, 60%, 70%? How do I do so, and who gets to grade it? So therefore, if I've got to constantly be going to 1 John to test to see if my salvation is true or fake, that means I can never have assurance, because I won't know if I ultimately pass the test until I'm dead. So that means you can never have assurance of salvation. And the way you get assurance of salvation is constantly checking to see if you passed the test according to 1 John, which means you're now looking to your works to determine if you're saved and not the finished work of Jesus Christ. I know by saying that, everyone's going to be like, wait a minute. I always was taught 1 John was the test book. I was taught that in the first church I attended. I was taught that in almost every Bible college I attended. I was taught that in, I think, every seminary I attended. It was not till much later that I started challenging that, going, wait a minute, if this is a test, I don't know if anybody's saved, including myself. In fact, I know I'm not saved. So no one is saved. But then I would see these people going, no. You can be saved. I mean, you don't have to get a perfect score. Well, so it's not pass fail. It's like, so anything above a 60 is passing, or is it got to be a 65, or is it a 70? Like, when you start having a test to determine if you're saved, it becomes very subjective very quickly, and you cannot have any assurance other than looking to your own works. And that seems to destroy salvation by grace alone, through faith alone, because of Christ alone. So that's what we're going to challenge, just so that, just giving you a little preview. And trust me, 90% of the people will disagree with me. I am aware of that. And that's okay. I will give your view, the test view. I know the test view. I used to teach the test view. I now reject the test view. But I will acknowledge that 1 John as a book definitely seems to support the test view. So any attempt to get around it is very difficult. I am aware of that. But if I take the test view and take it to its logical conclusion, I cannot have assurance of salvation, and I don't know if anybody is saved. That is the logical conclusion that I can't then I can't get around that either. So 1 John is going to be a book filled with difficulties. The curriculum, trust me, is not going to get into all of those theological issues. So I'm going to deal with the theological issues, and then hopefully the curriculum will try to give you some practical things to take away from it. So that's what we're going to try to do. It's going to be difficult, but it will be well needed. All right. So while we just got to do next 2 weeks, stay committed to 1 Kings. I know you know some of these stories. I know you know what Elijah's getting ready to become discouraged and give up and suicidal. I know that. Personally, I would be suicidal and discouraged and want to give up after I just slaughtered 450 people in cold blood and slaughtered them. That would probably be pretty disturbing and make me question everything as well. But nobody ever considers that. Okay. But that's a whole different discussion. We'll have that later. We've already had it a little bit, but I'm still that story. And then we'll have what happens next. Is it Elijah passing things on to Elisha? What are we going to do? What do we learn from that? And we'll go from there. But let's stay committed to 1 Kings, even though I know a lot of people are going to want to get to 1 John. But we have that's why I like following, like, hey, this is what's there, because then it forces self-discipline. Because sometimes when you don't do that, you just jump from thing to 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 thing. And, well, then that will be the end. But I'm getting ready to go home and have a steak sandwich from Steak Express. I think that's what I'm going to do. So, yeah, I think that's on my schedule for this evening. All right, everyone, have a great night. Thanks, as always, for to the person listening for their encouraging emails, and for them participating in the live programs. It always just adds it adds more to it when you're sitting here in an empty sanctuary. Sometimes I can't explain the feeling sometimes when you're doing a live broadcast. You can get, like, when you're in front of a live audience, it's so different. And when you know people are actually listening live, it changes that feeling immensely. And so I always appreciate when people let me know. All right, thanks to everyone. Everyone have a great weekend. Again, be very, very, very safe. I don't know what's going on in your area. As I said in the last live broadcast, we've had someone in our church test positive for COVID again. And so I don't know, they weren't at church Sunday, which is good. So now we've got to make some decisions. Our local area is in level 6, which means emergency level. Some classrooms have already had to close down because there's too many kids with COVID. The hospitals are overwhelmed. It's just a mess where we are right now. And so please be safe, thoughtful, take precautions. Remember, it's not just about you. It's about the people around you. So please show love for your neighbor, love for even your enemy. Be cautious, be thoughtful, and most importantly, let's keep our focus on the things of God by spending time daily in God's Word. And hopefully that's what we're going to accomplish in these Bible study exercises. And now you know where we're going. Now it's just going to require the discipline to get there. And hopefully you'll be along with the journey. And hopefully by the time we're done with this year, you're going to be like, man, those Bible study exercises were the highlight of 2021. Okay, maybe that's okay. All right, that's clearly not going to be the highlight of 2021, but hopefully you won't forget the Bible study exercises you participated in 2021. And then we'll see where we're going in 2022. Yeah, okay, hopefully. All right. Everyone, and if I don't know how September the 11th, 2001 impacted you. I know tomorrow's the anniversary. For some of us who were in the military on that day, I will never forget it. So if anyone out there lost anyone, I know it's a painful anniversary and a painful day. If you have family members or people who served in the military after 9/11, fighting the war on terrorism, and they either were wounded or PTSD or lost their lives, I'm sorry, it's going to be a very difficult, tragic time. My prayer is for you that you have some peace and comfort. And remember, there's a lot of people tomorrow who that day will bring up a lot of painful memories, not just for the people who died on 9/11, but for all the people who lost loved ones who then went off to war, fighting the war on terror, who lost their lives either in Afghanistan or in Iraq. So just be praying for peace and comfort for people who lost loved ones and who struggle with, and for the people in the military who went and came back and maybe struggling with PTSD, which can really have profound impacts on the rest of their life. Yeah, please just pray for all those who tomorrow will be maybe a difficult day. All right. Thanks for listening. Everyone have a great night. God bless.